Yeah. No, it's the O.G to the E, counting down Brooklyn's 10 worst ever criminals. But before I do that, I just talked about Tommy the Karate Man Pilata. Yes, Pilata. Not to eat, no. Pilata. I just got to get this shit off my chest. Real good and real simple, okay? It's in my book, and this is the art of SFS. You don't believe SFS, then that is okay. I don't give a fuck, okay? But it's the realest shit to me that ever going to be. And I'm not joking here, right? The fucking Illuminati is not a conspiracy theory at all. It is what we see every day. Corporations, the schemers, the banks, the everything. All these corporate businesses, capitalism, it's right there. We're getting fucked in our faces. Don't you understand? It is not a no conspiracy. It is a fact. Illuminati is a fact. And what that means, there's different meanings to it, but basically it means the Illuminati, the elite, 12 bloodline, whether it's reptilian or not, is a question. That is a question. Controls the world. Mainly the banks and the economy. And controls the government, the police, the army, the British intelligence, the CIA, the FBI, ISIS, the Taliban, the samurais way back in the days of the Saxons, the Vikings, to religion. The Bible is controlled by the Illuminati. Religion is controlled by the Illuminati. I'm not going to go too much into it. And I haven't really in my book either, but the next book I am. And the book before I did, but that got thrown out. Now listen here. There ain't no conspiracies about this. About JFK. There ain't no conspiracy about who killed JFK. It was that mafia guy from Chicago. And why? Because he went against the oath. Fidel Castro, in JFK's regime, they never invaded Cuba. No, Fidel Castro worked with JFK to, if you call it communism or whatever you want to fucking call it. Basically, they worked together to try and reform the banking system and take down the secret society, which was the mafia at the time, right? And J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI office, his bloodline, the Hoover bloodline, yeah, is part of the Illuminati bloodline. Right? And J. Edgar Hoover covered up all the mafia's crimes and said mafia does not exist when the mafia was controlling everything in New York City at the time, just as the royal family controls everything, and the MI6, the royal family controls the government. The people in Oxford, the bankers, control the government. Labour Party, Conservative Party, Democrats, they're all the fucking same. They're all controlled by the higher bloodline, and that is the Illuminati. That ain't no conspiracy, that is true. They're all the same. Labour and Conservative are all the same. So when you go out and vote, you're not voting for anybody. You're voting for the Illuminati. They're all the same. Labour, Conservative, America, Democrats, Republicans, they're the fucking same. They're controlled by the bankers that control Wall Street, the royal family and the bloodline of the Illuminati, the Morgans, the Hoovers, the fucking Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, I'll name loads of them, right? That's what they're controlled by. Lee Harvey Oswald did not shoot JFK. That's a fact. The guy was manipulated and set up by the CID and put on LSD at the time to brainwash his mind into getting up there and firing a shot that did not hit JFK. He did fire a shot, but it did not hit him because he was not experienced enough. You get this wise guy from Chicago who ran the mafia, part of the Outfits or some shit like that, gang in Chicago, and from the northwest, that's where the 2 bullets that hit JFK came from to kill him. Right? Now, the same guy that killed JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, is arrested. Then he gets shot dead by the same guy, the mafia guy who killed JFK. And what happens? He don't even have no trial. And J. Edgar Hoover covers that up. Right? That's what happened. Because JFK and Castro were planning to reform the banking systems and get rid of the Illuminati. That's the main thing they were trying to do. They were very close in doing it, and Castro has managed to evade the Illuminati for most of his life. And Castro is against the Illuminati. All this bullshit that you see on Scarface about fucking Cubans fucking invading America and being trapped in their own country is bullshit. All them Cubans that fled the country were right-wing mafia, big-time criminals that fled the country because they could not go under Castro's rules because Castro believed in fairness, equal for everyone, and they thought, fuck that, we're going to America. And in Scarface, it portrays Fidel Castro as being this ruthless guy who basically made them slaves, so they had to go to America and put in camps. That's bullshit. That's what Hollywood wants you to believe. That is Illuminati. And the fact is, the French Revolution shit is bollocks. It started in ancient Egypt by Greek gods that were part of the religion Islam. And Christian followed and have been manipulating religion, wrote the Bible and all that bullshit. That's why I say Satan. I don't say that as the devil's version of Satan. Satan, I've done research on Satan, okay? Satan 316. Satan 662213. That's my Satan. Satan means that you're free from gods and the Illuminati. You're free from them. You're not controlled by the 10 Commandments. You are free from their grasp. You are a God within yourself. You do not have to bow down to Satan. You are a God in yourself. It might seem crazy, but that's how I see it. You live life the way you want to live your life. You don't go by set patterns or set codes and crazy. If they do, then they'll label you as having ADHD or autism or some fucking bullshit like that. Like they tried doing with me. It's all to brainwash you. If you got a fucking mind to speak and everything like that, that's what they do. They fucking brainwash you. Like they did to me. Social services, all that motherfucking shit. All these doctors, everything, they're brainwashing you. So when you say, oh, you got something wrong with you because you don't do well at school, or you're not taught the things that you need to be taught at school. You're not taught to you're not taught about the banking system. You're not taught about poverty or crime or all that shit, or drugs or manipulation or how it is out there in the world. No, you're taught about stupid fucking RE, religious education, and some history about the Indian Americans and bullshit like that. Who gives a fuck about that? It's all a lie. Jesus Christ was a Christian, basically manipulated by Christianity. If he's son of God, I don't know. But God is basically a person that controls the world, but does do in a specific way, where some people are given gifts of him and 3/4 of the world ain't. And that's why people stop me believing in religion and go to Satan, my Satan, and believe that a God within yourself and you're free of that bullshit. And the only way to fucking do that, the only way you can get to the truth of this motherfucking shit in your lifetime, all you have to do is get the fucking army and the police force or whoever to turn on the government. Straight off like that. And the government then will turn on them families, and then you eliminate them families. Simple. That's all that needs to be fucking done. I shouldn't be saying this shit, but that is true. Shit. That's what happened. 9/11 was a fucking inside job. I've seen video footage ages ago of Osama bin Laden meeting with George Bush on November 2001. That's 2 months after. They were both in it together. All this shit about ISIS and all this Islam fucking bombing, suicide bombing shit, this terrorism shit. The fucking US government and the British fucking government, MI6 and all that fucking shit are in it with them. Open your fucking eyes, man. That's all I say. Shit. There's no fucking conspiracy. Right? When people say these are conspiracy theories, we'll never get the truth. That is the truth. It's right in front of you. You see it every fucking day. Real shit. Damn. Anyway, fucking read my book and you'll get what I'm talking about. You call me crazy all you want, I don't give a fuck. A lot of people call me crazy. Maybe I am. To you. To me, I am not. I am just me. I want to be me. I think like no one else. I think the way I want to think. I act the way I want to act. Just like Bruce Lee said. Just like fucking other people said. You know. Don't go bind by a system. It's like martial arts. It's like boxing. Why would you want to box one particular fighting style when you can do every fucking fighting style? Learn a little bit of Wing Chun, fucking Thai boxing, karate, taekwondo, judo, wrestling, hapkido, fucking learn the basics of all that shit, do it spontaneously and put it into everything that you do. Put it into your own martial arts. That's what Jeet Kune Do was. Bruce Lee were freeing minds. And Bruce Lee were assassinated in Enter the Dragon. He was drugged when he was filming Enter the Dragon because of a lot of hidden messages on that movie. Now, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, John Lennon, all assassinated by the Illuminati. 9/11, Illuminati job. The recession, bullshit. All manipulated. They want to manipulate the banking system so we all turn on each other. Think about it. Tupac, yeah, basically he was manipulated into a situation where he couldn't get out of. So yeah, he was killed by the Illuminati. Yeah, yeah, I've studied that. If not in the way that people think he was. People think it was an inside job by certain. What happened was basically he was put in a situation where his mind was manipulated and he got in with the wrong type of people, which was Suge Knight people, and basically died in a gangland style, and Puffy and all that shit were involved in it, and the FBI manipulated that shit to happen. That's why no one's ever been arrested for his murder. Okay? That is the truth. So no conspiracy there either. Because I know Illuminati, and I know it started in ancient Egypt, when the Greek gods come together and brought thousands of Greek people and African people to slaves to build the 3 pyramids. That started the Illuminati headquarters. It's all in my book and you read it. Shit. Damn. Getting hotter than a motherfucking sauna in this motherfucker. You know, that's the truth anyway, but at the end of the day, that's what you can do about it, is get the army and the police to turn on the government, and then we could defeat the Illuminati. But everyone wants a peaceful life, so forget about it and just life's what you make of it. So that's what it is. Okay? So, on to the next topic. Just forget everything that I said, because that's what you got to do. You just got to think about something but not get it stuck in your head. And that's that. Because I don't get possessed by thinking about that shit. I actually enjoy it because I like to know the truth. Before, I didn't know the truth. That's why I was so pissed off of why the world was so fucked up. Because I didn't know the truth. Now that I know the truth, I'm not as angry as I used to be. Shit. So, yeah, the Mafia basically was a part of it as well. But they did their own thing as well, and some Mafia people were termed Mafia because Italians and Irish were brought in America as, and Britain as well, not Italians, Irish, to be slaves and live in squalor conditions. And the same with African Americans as well. That's the truth. You gotta know, it ain't no conspiracy, it's reality. And that's all I've got to say about that. Right, here we go. We're going to get in to the 10 most dangerous people in the most dangerous place in America, Brooklyn. Salvatore Gravano. Have you heard of him before? Salvatore Gravano. Sammy the Bull Gravano. Well, a lot of people have heard of Sammy the Bull Gravano. I've heard of Sammy the Bull. What? Sammy the Rat Gravano, who ratted out John Gotti. When Benedict Arnold is America, Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano is to the mafia the ultimate turncoat. Make no mistake, there is no honour among thieves, drug dealers and murderers, but when a Gravano, Sammy the Bull Gravano, agreed to cooperate with the federal government and violate Ometa, the mafia code of silence, shockwaves shot out throughout organised crime. Gravano wasn't the first made member of the Italian mafia to snitch, nor will he be the last. Gravano isn't even the highest ranking gangster to save himself by tattling, though he was until 2004 when Joseph Massiano, the Bonanna family Cheftian, became the first sitting boss of the mafia family, the boss of the Bonanno family at the time, to testify for the government today. Turning state's witness is more of an exit strategy for young mobsters, but that escape hatch became far popular since Gravano, Sammy the Bull, took down his skipper, the most known mafia gangster in history, the one and only Dapper Don, Teflon Don, John Gotti, a trusted underboss in the Gambino crime family. Gravano played the pivotal role in helping convict previously untouchable family boss, the one and only John Gotti. Until Gravano flipped, John Gotti rode a succession of victories over criminal prosecutions that earned him the moniker the Teflon Don, mainly by bribing jurors and members of the prosecution that were trying to put him in jail. He had them all in his pocket, did John the Teflon Don Gotti. Because of Gravano, the feds finally made the charges stick on Gotti. Before Gravano became the poster boy for Gotti's betrayal, he was highly successful and a very ruthless gangster, intimately involved in high-stake plot to murder seated Gambino boss Paul Castellano, the mafia assassination of the century. The assassination was orchestrated by John Gotti to seize power and become boss of the Gambino crime family. Angelo Quack Ruggiero, Frank Dicato and Joseph Anamor. Gravano grew up a tough hood on the streets of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, the third of 3 children with 2 older sisters, yet Gravano did not come from a family of criminals. His father operated a small dress manufacturer, provided a comfortable middle-class lifestyle for his family. His son chose a life of crime, Sammy the Bull, growing up in Italian-American enclave of Bensonhurst, the wise guys were everywhere in the neighborhood corners, cafes, social clubs. Gravano began his criminal career as a member of the Rampers, a local street gang. While in his early teens, he confronted the thieves who stole his bike and attacked them, much to the amusement of the neighborhood gangsters watching from nearby. One of them commented how young Sammy fought like a bull, and his nickname stuck. That's why to this day he's called Sammy the Bull. Timid in school and undiagnosed with severe dyslexia, Gravano underperformed and acted out and dropped out of school at the age of 16. Drafted into the United States Army in 1964, he served stateside for 2 years as a cook and left the service in 1968 with an honorable discharge. Returning to Brooklyn, originally Sammy the Bull Gravano was aligned with the Colombo family. Jealousy from a rival gangster prompted Gravano's resignment to the Gambinos to keep peace. He reported to Capo Salvador Todo Orella. Gravano provided spectacular earner for the Gambinos as he amassed interest in dozens of illegal and legitimate enterprises, including several construction companies. Ruthless and cunning, Gravano muscled aside or murdered anyone who got in his way, drawing him to the orbit of upstart Teflon Don John Gotti. Following decades of loyalty at Gotti's side included numerous murders. Gravano fell out of favor with the boss. On November 11, 1991, federal investigators announced the stunning news that Sammy the Rat Gravano was cooperating with the government, instantly making him the most notorious gangster in the underworld. Though Gravano admitted to 19 murders and decades of criminal activity, he received a reduced sentence for testimony that finally made charges stick to the Teflon Don John Gotti and assisted in the prosecution of dozens of wise guys. Gotti was sentenced to life in a maximum security prison, where he died in 2003 of cancer. For his sins, Gravano received a pittance penalty of 5 years in prison, infiltrating the families of his many victims. Imprisoned for 4 years by the time of his sentencing, Gravano was released 1 more year of incarceration. Upon his exit from prison, Gravano chaffered in seclusion as a regular Joe, or in his case a regular Jimmy. After only a year hiding Jimmy Moran, Gravano exited the Witness Protection Program in 1995 and decamped for Arizona. Embracing his notoriety, Gravano soon started giving magazine and television and telephone interviews. Gravano wrote a bestseller with acclaimed author Pete Mass in 1997, Underboss, where he blasted the Mafia Code of Honor and explained that he turned on Gotti and his goonballs because they marked him for murder. Upon publication of the tome, New York and State and many family members of his victims, which were all members of the Mafia, so who gives a fuck, brought legal action pursuing profits from the book. Unable to stay out of trouble, even though arrested, Gravano became embroiled in an ecstasy ring in Arizona when his son Gerald was involved with the Devil Dogs, a drug gang, mostly white teens from middle-class families. Arrested in 2000 in a sweep in Phoenix that netted 35 conspirators. Gravano helped build and finance the gang's narcotics trafficking operation up to the point it was grossing $500,000 per week. He was finally caught again, back to his tricks, and sentenced to 20 years in prison in the Arizona court, as well as 19 years on federal charges back in New York. Gravano, currently incarcerated in a prison in Arizona, is in protective custody. His son Gerald was handed a 9-year sentence. His wife Deborah and daughter Karen pled guilty and received probation for their roles in the drug ring. Karen Gravano later traded on her father's notoriety to land a spot on the VH1 reality series Mob Wives. The confirmed murder of 19 people is eligible for parole as early as 2019. Sammy the Bull. Well, that weren't such an unknown one, but I thought the other ones were boring, so I had to get to the last 10. Sammy the Bull scored at number 10. Oh, I thought it'd be a bit higher than that. What? It's Sammy the Rat Gravano. He was a rat, so he's not really a devilish, sick, sadistic criminal. I do not know who's number one, but I'll be shocked if Tommy Karate Pilata is number one, because that guy was sick, just like Jeffrey Dahmer and all the other sadistic killers like Jimmy B.